Hello and welcome to this episode 40 of Brashcast with me, Liam Pritchard, and as always, Ross Frame.
Hello.
So, big news this week. Xbox One's out.
What?
That's the thing, yeah. I know. This is what I hear. I saw it on Sky News this morning. I didn't hear anything about it.
Gaming things.
Yeah, one of those console things
the
where...
Nintendo.
No. I hear it's made by Microsoft, but I don't know.
Yeah, but they're all Nintendos, you know.
The thing is, one has actually shown up in my house, bizarrely enough, but I've decided not to play it. Which is, like, we mentioned this last week, the fact that I've pre-ordered the Xbox One, despite obviously knowing nothing about it, and I'm going to try and keep it aside for Christmas. It's a lot tougher when it's sitting there. When it is literally just on my desk, I'm like, okay, that's something I could open now. You know, I'm not a kid anymore. It is mine. Yeah, I've paid for it. It's sitting there, and I'm like, the thing is, what helps is the fact that it's got a huge sticker of FIFA 14 on the side, and I'm just not that fussed on FIFA 14. So it's easier to kind of just, no, I'm happy playing Pro Evo for now, but I don't know. Like, it's everywhere at the moment, isn't it? Like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 and all that jazz.
It kind of sums up my thoughts about the whole next gen at the moment.
Yeah.
At this very moment.
That there's nothing that exciting.
Not that fussed.
Well, the thing is, all the reviews are out now. All the major releases have been reviewed, and, you know, we talked last week about the PlayStation 4 launch being a little bit underwhelming in terms of, you know, review score. Like, you know, Killzone was what you would have almost feared. Like, it was never going to be a bad game, but it just sounds like more Killzone.
Average,
you know, like 75. Like, you know, we mentioned before, we're fan. Well, I'm certainly a fan of Killzone, but it doesn't sound like it's a huge step up.
Yeah.
And you know,
in the run-in, kind of, I said all the games that look like they're going to be really fun to play on next gen are coming out current gen.
Yeah, totally. And it looks largely the same. I mean, looking at the Xbox launch, I mean, Forza's what you expect. It looks better, but it's a diluted version of Forza 4. Yeah. Like, the career's not as good. It hasn't got as many cars. It looks prettier, but Forza 4 already looked fantastic. Mm-hmm. You know, it does look better, but does it look £430 better? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. Basically, a lot of people, like with Forza in particular, the fact that there's half the tracks, half the cars.
It's the quintessential launch title, isn't it?
It's essentially what Gran Turismo is to every. Like, I'm surprised there hasn't been a Gran Turismo launch.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a tech demo. Is what it is.
Essentially, it's basically exactly the same as what Project Gotham Racing 3 was, because Project Gotham Racing 3 was like a slightly gimped version kind of thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Project Gotham Racing 3, and it sounds like the fundamentals of Forza are all there and arguably better than ever, especially with these
the haptic
online business and on the triggers. The triggers supposed to be amazing.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Like pulling on the brake.
Yeah,
and you actually feel it.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. Obviously, it looks great, and I do like the idea that when you're playing, it takes kind of online information, so the AI is so much more aggressive, and that seems to actually come through quite clearly.
They've got a really cheesy name for that as
well. Oh, it's terrible, isn't it?
I've obviously AI in there.
Yeah, I've obviously blanked that out of my mind. I hate all this. Ever since I've blanked this out of my mind as well. What was the one EA used for Battlefield for stuff blowing up? I can't remember, but the thing is, I deal with enough jargon in finance to have to put up with anything in fucking gaming, so I block all that shit out. But yeah, I mean, Forza looks good, and I'm sure it's great, but
the AI thing for Forza really is awesome. That you can, it takes the way you drive. I imagine it would maybe take 4 or 5 races before you can really build anything on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it just takes your friends, like, you know, you could be playing, and your friend's name will come up above one of your competitors, even if you're just playing career mode. And the idea is that AI character in the career will drive
like you do,
or like your friend does, kind of thing. But they've got like blocks in place. So, you know, people who purposefully play like dicks and try and gimp the system. There's supposedly blocks in place, so that's not going to fuck it up. But I mean, I want to play Forza, but again, it's more because I've got an Xbox One. I want to play Forza. It's not. I haven't got an Xbox One because I want Forza. If you see on it, if that makes sense.
Forza is the kind of thing I could play a demo of and be satisfied with. But I'm not a massive racing game fan. To be honest.
I'll happily play it. The thing is, I'm arguably looking forward more to Need for Speed anyway.
Right.
Which looks amazing. Well, that looks. I think because of the effects.
Current gen now.
Yeah. But I think because, obviously, with a game like Need for Speed, because it's a bit more fantastical, they can throw in those kind of additional details which make it stand out. Like the weather effects are supposed to be absolutely amazing. Yeah. Whereas Forza, because it's kind of based in realism, there's only so far you can go.
It's the kind of game you want. You know, you want that first-person driver mode so you can see the rain down the windscreen.
Yeah. It is cool. Like when you go up to a car at the start of the race and you walk towards the car and the doors open.
Yeah.
And then when you get it, like the cars look phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I'm not like a supercar. I just like driving
you
games.
would expect, but yes.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal, but it is very much a launch version of Forza. Very solid, but the bells and whistles will come with Forza 6.
Speaking
There's no
of
two ways
Need
about
for
it.
Speed and ridiculous, have you seen the trailer for the movie?
Oh, I saw the teaser trailer ages ago, but I haven't seen the new one.
And it's got like Koenigsegg's like flipping through it.
Really?
Like the amount of money they must have spent on this film.
It's going to be so cheesy. But the thing is, they're obviously going to go for cheesy. What they've seen is Fast and Furious, isn't it? And they're like, okay, Need for Speed's already got a name to it. We'll try and create another one.
What's really popular? Breaking Bad. Let's stick Jesse Pinkman in it as well.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I forgot he's in it. It's one of those films like. It's going to be good, terrible, or just terrible. I'm actually a fan of the recent Fast films, which obviously you're not. Yeah, we've spoken that. We do have a disagreement there. So, I am a fan of kind of stupid fun, but it's a balancing act. You go the wrong way just a little bit too far, and you end up with a complete turd on your hands. So, I'm not going to go and say I'm looking forward to this film.
I was a nurse. I know all about getting turds on your hands.
Yeah, nobody wants turds on their hands. Jesus Christ. I've got a 30 million turd. Well, no, it costs more. Let's be honest. How much do movies cost to make? Even if it's like like Need for Speed movie is going to cost what? At least 60 million?
Oh, yeah.
So it could be a 60 million turd.
Yeah.
So even 100 million turd. It depends how much they committed.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than Forza, I mean, Rise has got the reviews you would have expected. Extremely mixed. The most divisive of the launch titles.
I think I'm seeing 6s and 7s.
I really want to play that game.
They're talking about the combat system being a little bit like Batman's, which is a lot better than what it was when I was originally scoffing at it because it was all quick time.
Yeah. Well, the issue most people seem to be having is that very few people seem to say it's bad. Like the storytelling seems fine. The visuals are universally they're it looks like the best looking Xbox One game. It's just the fact that it's repetitive. It's like you kind of the combat never really evolves, and you actually max out the character very early. So and then the challenge kind of is removed. But in terms of like a launch title, I can probably deal with that because I like the idea of the setting. It looks again absolutely phenomenal.
As a big history nerd, I would love more like games set that aren't necessarily fantasy games. Like, God of War is fun, but you don't really get a sense of history there. You just it's got its own little confined lore.
Well, I don't think this Rise is historically accurate in any way. I mean, you have characters I think from all over kind of time. There's characters like 600 years apart who seem to show up, but it does have levels in England, in Scotland as well. Like there's a level with the Cliffs of Dover. There's supposedly like a kind of quite a horror-esque level kind of thing.
Nice.
And I'm just like, the more I hear about it, I know it's not going to change my life. I'm fully aware of that. But if it's like a really spectacular looking 7, and I do like these kind of shorter games sometimes when you can just get into it and it's very mindless almost. Yeah. And I can just get into it.
It has a decent story to pull you along.
Yeah. As long as the combat's solid, I think So I'm quite looking forward to playing that. But again, it's not a reason to buy the console, but I've got it, so I'll play it.
Well, the one that you were most excited about was probably Dead Rising, right?
Yeah, which again, the review's kind of what you would have expected. Yeah. It's not as technically accomplished maybe as some of us were hoping.
Yeah, well, the big thing that they've been making of it is that because they were going on about how.
So I'm just stealing Ross's water. I'd love to say we're gangster and we're drinking beer, but I drive here, and I'm not one for breaking the law. My wife would kill me. So.
Oh yeah, basically, to have so much on screen, and that's what they were going on about. Like the last generation, it wouldn't have been possible to put this many zombies on the screen. You've paid for that with your frame rate, basically. The resolution apparently is still quite high. Yeah. But the frame rate drops considerably.
It's supposed to be like, it's just the idea that, because I think it's set in LA and it's a next gen game, and if you just kind of look at the surrounding details, it's not as impressive as Grand Theft Auto 5, which is a current gen game. Yeah. But it's a price being paid to put a gajillion zombies, because that's the idea. Like the opening level is supposedly quite underwhelming because it doesn't look fantastic, and because you're walking around just paying attention to your surroundings. Because obviously
getting it mixed up between resolution and frame rate then. Or it could be both.
Oh, it could be both, but it's more like it's more impressive when you suddenly turn a corner and it's literally just zombies as far as the eye can see, as it were. It's another one of those games. Like I'll play it, sure, But I agree with you. I still think most of the games I'm really looking forward to are on current gen. Like, I'm still thinking I want to play Battlefield, I want to play Call of Duty, I want to play Need for Speed. Supposedly the best looking game on next gen is arguably NBA 2K14.
All right.
It's supposed to be, like, I've seen the videos, it looks fucking phenomenal. That's the first game where I've looked, and it's the closest thing to say the Fight Night effect.
Yeah.
You know when you saw Fight Night for the first time on 360 and like, holy shit, that looks amazing.
The slow motion bits.
When their faces just kind of distort. But the most impressive looking game I've seen is 2K14. It looks phenomenal, which doesn't bode well because NBA Live, after years out of the game, EA's NBA Live is, I think, one of the worst reviewed next gen games, and it's supposed to be an absolute turd.
Oh, lovely.
They spend so long on that trying to kind of bring it back, and I think it's on Metacritic at like 50, which for a sports game, especially when your competitor is arguably the best sports game on the market, full stop. NBA 2K is an absolutely fantastic franchise. Which
I haven't played a basketball game since very early in the current.
Oh well, I played.
I say the current generation. That's it now.
Yeah. That's the end of that.
We're now in generation.
Currently, 8. The next gen is here, as it were. But the last NBA 2K game I played was 2K13, and it's still absolutely fantastic. The weird thing is, it doesn't feel a million miles away from like the old Dreamcast games. It's just they kind of nailed the templates so early, and they just kept iterating on it. But they keep iterating on brilliant ways, and just kind of.
They don't have to really.
Well, the changes they make tend to be positive ones. Yeah. It's not like, because occasionally with like FIFA and certainly with Madden, you see them kind of make a change, and then the next year go, well, I'm sure about that, and they kind of remove it and bring something else in. With 2K, the changes seem to stick more often, but NBA Live looks like a turd. But same as you, I've got the Xbox One sitting there. I think I can wait till Christmas. Once I'll pick up a few games. The only one I'm really disappointed about, the one I really wanted to be good, was Crimson Dragon, and the reviews have been a bit shit.
Yeah.
Because obviously, with the lineage and the people involved, you think, oh, this is going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. But University seems to be, it's a bit rubbish. Like, balance wise, it's not supposed to be great visually, not fantastic. Artistically,
I could tell visually that, because it did not look good in any.
The thing is, I could have taken a visual hit as long as artistically it was up to the levels of kind of Panzer Dragoon Orta and all that jazz. But it just doesn't sound like it is. Like this, it sounds like there are moments when it all comes together.
For some reason, I just heard Panzer Dragoon Orta.
Otter instead. I don't like the word otter anymore. Ever since, and I hope she doesn't listen to this, but. No, I'm not sure if I should say this. No, I'm going to. My wife has started referring to her vagina as an otter's pocket, which is quite bizarre.
Jokingly, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
We need to clear that up.
Yeah, it just is vagina, not her own, just vaginas in general as otter's pocket. My friend always used to say, I'm as wet as an otter's pocket. So now I've kind of combined the two and it's become a little bit messed up in my head.
Oh,
so, I'm not sure about the term otter in any shape or form.
Okay, I think we'll leave that one then.
Yeah, best we leave it there. I'm not sure, was there any... I'd say, of the launch titles, again, it's one of those games which is obviously on both, and I can't see the jump up being that impressive. But have you played Lego Marvel?
No.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's good.
Really, really good. Like, you get a game like Knack, which is supposed to be for the kids and turns out to be a bit of a turd. Lego Marvel, I mean, whether you're a kid or a grown-up, is absolutely fantastic. And easily the best Lego game I've played, probably ever.
We can't really judge on the grounds of, it's for children, because we are just big kids anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. Like, a Mario game is arguably for kids, but that's... Oh, I'm so glad the reviews have been good. Have you seen it? Like, I think it's like a 95 on Metacritic.
Really they're talking about it being like
up there with Galaxy.
They've got new Super Mario out of their system. They're now innovating again.
Well, the idea was that it was almost a kind of middle ground, because while Galaxy got all the accolades, it doesn't sell nearly as well as New Super Mario Brothers.
I didn't know that.
Oh, not nearly as well. The 2D Mario sells so much better.
That's ridiculous.
They absolutely smash it. But this game, while it is 3D, because, it's easy for us to say, these games are so much better, but take Bethan, for instance, my wife. She likes Mario Galaxy too, like to watch it, but she can't get used to the open world kind of controls, if you see what I mean? The truly open 3D world. Whereas, she doesn't like the 2D games so much, but she gets involved because they're easier. Whereas this is almost like 2.5. It's like a compromise where it still has the ease of 2D controls, because you're always it's almost like a course from left to right, isn't it? But it has those 3D elements. But But that's the thing everyone thought, was it just going to be Super Mario 3D Land on the Wii U, which wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world because Super Mario 3D Land is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But in terms of, once again, in terms of creativity, it sounds like they've gone absolutely bonkers. Like, no other developer, like, throws so many ideas at a game and just kind of throws them away. Like, they'll just say, oh, here's an idea. It works perfectly. You'll never see it again in the game. So, you know, for all the chat about Xbox One, I would not swap it for a second for the chance to play New Super Mario Brothers. No, not new. Sorry, Mario 3D World, which I'll be picking up next Friday. Like, I can't remember the last time I bought a game at launch, but I am totally going straight in at lunchtime and buying the new Mario game, and that's all I'm going to play until Christmas because it looks fucking amazing. But speaking of that, I guess we should get around to what we've been playing.
Okay.
Have you been playing anything this week?
No, apart from APB at work and another little
APB.
thing.
Have you had a tits full of APB now? Is it just you like a gynecologist? You've just had enough of vagina. It's just you just cannot do it. It's like, you know, it's putting me off games now. Like just there all day, or is it just?
It's what makes me glad that it's a genre of game that I would never play had I not been working on it. You know.
That's probably a good thing, because say it was like you're testing Skyrim day in and day out. Do you think eventually you would just... I know Skyrim, you know, you play for days anyway, but, you know, eventually, are you just going to have a tits full of that kind of game?
Possibly.
Like you say, you don't play games like APB usually. You're not a PC gamer, really, so...
No. On the other hand, part of me thinks that if I was to play, if I was to test a Bethesda game, I would just then be able to play as much of it as I would actually like to. Because I've put hundreds of hours into Skyrim, and I still would like
hundreds.
to play more. Yeah.
Hundreds. Madness. But why not? No, because, you know, I criticise that, but I know loads of people who have put hundreds of hours into Call of Duty.
Which is an experience that arguably never changes.
Yeah. I was speaking to my friend just yesterday, like, he's not a gamer. You know, we won't get into this conversation. But he was, last week. But he does spend... Like, he spent easily hundreds and hundreds of hours playing Chatman. So, you know, why not, I suppose.
If you really like spreadsheets.
Yeah, if you love them spreadsheets. That actually brings me... Like, I know we're talking about what we've been playing, but I was watching Sky News today, and they had somebody on, and half of it, I'm not going to lie, felt like an advert for the Xbox One, because they had like a 12-foot screen, but it was actually about game addiction, because basically this guy's trying to start up a campaign because his son died of that deep vein thrombosis shit, because he had just like stayed up all night and just, you know, like what usually happens in Korea. You know, they're the stories we hear that it happens in Korea.
Always Korea.
It does happen in like Indonesia and stuff like that as well. These kind of they play these big MOBA games kind of thing or whatever they are, but it's often StarCraft.
Yeah.
Where they just don't stop playing. And they forget to eat, they forget to shit, and then they just die. Yeah. They're just morons, basically.
I mean, you perish while you're sitting there playing. It's insane.
I don't think the idea of addiction to gaming's far-fetched at all, though, because people are...
It happens, like, it's something that we, as people inside the game, like, who are fans of the games industry, we need to take notice of it, because it's a thing that if the wrong... Basically, if like people like Fox News got a hold of it, they would start to perpetuate that as the stereotype.
Yeah, which isn't the case. I mean,
not at all.
Especially when you talk about gaming, because this brings us back to our conversation, I think, from last week when you said what the difference between a gamer and someone who just plays a game, for instance. Yeah. And I think that people more likely to be addicted, and from what I hear, are the people who are not traditional gamers, as in, like, I consider myself a game enthusiast. Yeah. You know, we talked before, we're into the industry, I play a lot of games, but I don't play for hours on end. The people who seem to have these problems are people, like you say, who just play StarCraft. Yeah. Just play one game, and they are hooked on that one thing, and they fucking cannot stop playing it, or they play World of Warcraft, or they're caught up in just this one world. It's not like, they were up all night playing Call of Duty, and then they put on Madden for a while, and then they played a bit of Mass Effect. They would just play one game all the time, every fucking day, and they're just lost in that world.
The thing about that is you become so invested in either the character that you're creating, or a certain statistic, like you've got to get your kill-death ratio up to this number. Yeah,
or even the social aspect of being in the world, like something like World of Warcraft, where they don't want to step. You know, in that world, they have these clans and they've got their friends there, and then outside of it, maybe they don't have that.
Well, that's
they probably don't have an axe.
That's escapism, and that's something I can totally relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like just when life is a bit crap.
Yeah.
Games like Skyrim offer a chance. I mean, you can have a house, you can have a family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously very shallow, but you can. It's all about what you put into it.
Yeah.
And it's maybe not with multiplayer games, but you start to, especially things like RPGs and story-based games, you start to project yourself onto your character. I mean, it's what they want. It's what I love about Skyrim.
Yeah.
Or a large part of it. But you start to really project your own persona onto it, even though it's done nothing to suggest that that's the case.
Yeah, well, as you say, different people deal with games in different. I don't think I've ever had that relationship with games. For me, it's always been more just immediately entertainment rather than escapism. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Kara, I would probably have a much harder time with Skyrim.
What do you mean?
Like, I would spend much more time there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With Oblivion, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I was at university when that came out. I was having a horrible time. Like, I hate the city of Dundee.
Yeah.
Because I lived in the hospital, in hospital accommodation, in essentially a cupboard. And it was horrible, and it tainted my whole view of the city. And
Yeah.
time there, you know. So, when Oblivion came out, I would get it. My average day, I would roll out of bed just in time for lectures. I was in the same building.
Yeah.
So I'd go along to lectures. I'd come back at lunchtime. Instead of eating, I'd play Oblivion.
Yeah.
And then I'd go for evening lectures. I'd come home. I'd probably make myself food.
Yeah.
Sit
Well,
and eat it.
nourishment's required at some point.
It becomes less of a priority when you're addicted to a game.
Oh, so you were addicted?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Properly
definitely.
addicted. So you really can relate. Like, you have been addicted to a game.
The fact that I had other things to do, like my grades didn't slip or anything because I was on top of it.
Yeah.
And it was purely to escape the miserable time I was having.
Really? So I don't think I've ever been addicted to a game. I know, a lot of people say, like, I'm sure I've said, I've never been addicted to cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I can never remember a point where I just felt like...
What about Liam's Toilet Football Manager game?
Oh, that is literally... I wouldn't say it was addiction. I wasn't going to the toilet and not taking a shit. Then I would say it was an addiction. If I was going to the toilet and thinking, I hope I need a shit because I really want to play this game.
Yeah, but did you not tell me you were popping laxatives like Smarties? And
Oh, of course, yeah. And I was also doing like crack, because that makes pooing harder. So you tend to spend more time on the toilet. So there is that.
The laxatives and the crack are fighting it out.
Yeah. No, I mean those kind of games. I literally only play those. I was thinking about this a few days ago. I only play mobile games when I'm sitting on the toilet. Like, I literally, it's just something to do while I'm sitting on the toilet. That is it. Yeah. And just by the fact that you do, I have a poo most days. That I was playing these games most days, so that was about it. But I never play it on the bus. I never played at home.
We need to have a klaxon called the TMI klaxon.
Yeah. If you ever see me playing Peggle on the bus, just move away from me, because chances are, I just get so into it. I'll be like, don't I usually do something else when I'm? Oh no. Jesus Christ.
It's almost Pavlovian.
It is. And that's why I can't play them, because I assume that I will just shit myself whenever I see Peggle. That's why I'm worried about Peggle 2 only coming to Xbox One, that I'll just sit there and shit myself and just sit there just wallowing in my own filth. That can't be good, can it? Actually, that is something I'm really looking forward to. Not shitting myself, but Peggle 2's not coming out until Christmas. I fucking love Peggle. Jokes aside,
it's getting good reviews as well.
That is one of the few games where I played it on mobile and I played it on console. Because Beth and I were playing it on console. But I downloaded it one day.
But you got sick of cleaning the couch.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about the only game, the closest I've got to like really getting into a handheld game, to the point where I would maybe play it on the bus.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do everything in Peggle, every challenge, every level, and I fucking love that game.
I enjoyed Angry Birds.
It's not bad. Even the Star Wars ones, they've done a great job.
Yeah.
But I always
want to play Star Wars Tiny Tower as well, but I don't know why. I think it's just...
It's supposed to be a real bitch, though, in terms of one of those horrible games where it's just everything's slowed down, so they want you... It's like the Simpsons game.
Yeah.
Tapped Out is actually a good game, but it's in that horrible system where everything is so slow to make you buy everything.
I've got a lot of friends...
If that was sped up, it'd be a good game.
I have a friend who I used to work with at CEX who was addicted to it.
Oh, I've heard about people addicted to Tapped Out. I didn't think it'd be the kind of game you would be, but
that's the thing.
Really, people have spent fucking hundreds on that game.
They must have hired like a psychologist, like some kind of psychoanalyst to be like, this is how you should do it.
This is how you fuck everyone over.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and that's what like you say, that's the Star Wars game, Tiny Tower, which is such a shame because it looks gorgeous.
The 8-bit characters
I love
so
them.
Cute.
It looks so good, and the audio is supposed to be fantastic, but it is just a game. I might do the same as you. I'll down because I know I'm not the kind of person or like all of a sudden find myself hooked and spend money. I will not spend a penny on mobile games unless I'm buying them.
To be honest, all they need for a soundtrack to keep me hooked is...
That's exactly what I was going to go to as well. But the thing is, I've still got a bit of time for games, as I said, mobile games, where you can just buy them. Like, I bought Rayman Run game. I forgot what it's called. Well, anyway, it's...
the latest one? Or a mobile game? Sorry.
Yeah, they've got there's a new one come out as well.
This is the companion for Origins.
Yeah. And there's like they both basically look like Origins and Legends, and there's a sequel recently, but it's essentially you're running automatically, and you jump, but you hold to kind of float, and you can jump. You can punch as well.
Castle Crashers did a lot for making that kind of genre game popular.
Yeah, but this is in that kind of classic mobile game where it makes the game work by there not being any controls. Yeah. Like, you don't press left or right. You're just always in perpetual motion. Yeah. And you just gotta... And the way the levels are set out perfectly, so it's all to do with timing your jumps. Basically like Bit Trip Runner.
Yeah.
But it works really well for Rayman because of all the wall jumps and stuff. So that is one of the better... mobile games I've played, certainly, and one of the games I've been playing recently. We were supposed to be talking about what we've been playing anyway, and funny enough, I bought that recently. For people, who have a Wii and with the next generation coming around, games are so cheap at the moment. I got the Bit Trip collection, brand new, for £5 online.
Wow.
It's fucking awesome. It is so addictive. But if you suffer from epilepsy, steer the fuck clear, because that game gets fucked up real quick. Some of them... I forgot the one which is basically like Pong. You're just a paddle.
Yeah.
But the way these fucking things come towards you, it's all to do with how it kind of combines it with music and stuff. But that Bit Trip collection for £5 is one of the... And it comes with the soundtrack as well, which is amazing because Anna Managuchi do the soundtrack to Bit Trip Runner and stuff. It's such a good game. And if you've got a Wii for £5, and if you're in any way interested in kind of retro-style gaming, that's absolutely amazing. But I only got to play that because I have been hooked for the past week on Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, right.
I was like, I'm going to finish this. And I finished it. I finished the story in like a week. I just blitzed the shit out of it.
Satisfied?
Yeah, really sad. Same as always, never really got caught up in all those side things. I tried tennis once, it was bollocks. Didn't bother with golf. Side missions, tried a couple, but mostly I was just interested in keeping the story flowing. No, I know a lot of people have issues with it. I love the characters. I actually wrote an article about it just this week, brashgames.co.uk, once again whoring myself, about the fact that when I played Grand Theft Auto 5, I don't look back and think of singular characters so much. I think about their relationships.
Yeah.
And I think that game, while it is obviously about the American dream and stuff like that, it's fundamentally at its core, well, this is what I took from anyway, a story about friendships.
Yeah.
And, it made me actually think, I don't go robbing banks with my friends or killing people with my friends, but I could relate to, well, there was once, but I found it surprisingly relatable. Like, Franklin and Lamar, like his friend who's obviously grown up with, like they don't get on, but they still have that bond of growing up together kind of thing, and how it all comes I liked how it came together at the end kind of thing. And, even obviously with Trevor and Michael, it's very extreme, but the fact that, they still have that relationship from years ago.
The fact that anyone can have a relationship of any kind with Trevor is ridiculous.
Yeah, but they make it believable in the game. That's the thing, regardless of race, background, interest, it's this one common interest which brings people together. And again, it just reminds me of like my friends when I was younger, because like looking at me and my friends, we're not one of those groups where we all dress the same. We were completely different in terms of the kind of people we were, but we all still got on. And it's like my friend Curly, who's like one of my best friends. We argue like that.
Yeah.
Like he's the only friend when I have that kind of relationship. Like we've grown up together, and we all stand next to it and just tell each other to fuck off, fuck you, and people like you're like a very aggressive married couple.
Yeah.
But we're still best friends.
But the
kind of
makeup
thing.
sex is good.
Oh yeah, man! I just rattle that ass and just knock the bottom out of it. You know? Oh, I blow his back doors in. Oh, I feel sick just saying that. The thing is, the picture, forget about it. But yeah, I thought Grand Theft Auto 5 was easily the best Grand Theft Auto game. Best story, best characters. LA, it's not the most interesting
I
city,
still
but...
prefer Tommy Vercetti.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the writing's so much better in this one.
Oh, the writing is better, but...
Michael's not a million miles away from Tommy Vercetti, I suppose,
exactly.
but...
They speculated that might be the case.
Yeah, originally. But I thought it was fantastic, and it was one of those games that got better as it went. It started off well, but about halfway through, I remember doing that mission where you're climbing up, going down the side of a building, and Trevor's up in the helicopter, and then you've got to get into the helicopter.
Yeah.
That mission was amazing. The one with where you're on a plane. No, this one wasn't a heist. This was one of my favourite ones, actually. Spoiler alert, I suppose. Where you're on a plane as Trevor, you have to fly into the back of a Merryweather plane.
Yeah.
You take over that plane, you're taken down by fighter jets, you have to drive out the back of that plane, you parachute down, and you just land on the floor and just walk away calmly, and it's all just seamless. And I was like, that was fucking amazing. Yeah. That mission was so good. And some of the missions at the end are phenomenal, and the way they incorporate into the story... yeah, absolutely fantastic game.
Some of the most fun I had was going cross country with one of the bikes.
Yep.
When you have the high powered sniper rifle in the back of the van, and you shoot down, he's like a baseball player or something. You shoot down his plane, and you see it like with flaming engines coming flying overhead.
Oh, and you're driving after it. That bit's amazing.
That was really
bit. Yeah,
that was probably the most fun I had with the game.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, they've obviously learned from. Like Red Dead, you can see it. Those missions where obviously it's open world and you get in a car and there's a radio and stuff. But some of the missions where it's perfectly set, like you get out into the car, the sun's setting, it knows where you're driving, everything's perfect. It's already put the perfect song on the radio when you get into the car, and it's just set up for those moments. I just thought the world felt so much more vibrant. I'll still never go back. I won't be one to kind of go and do all the side missions. No. I thoroughly enjoyed the story. I had a very quick look at online. I really like the way they introduced it, actually.
Well, Loire.
Yeah, where you're on the plane and stuff like that. But then I had one quick go, I'm like, I'm not going to bother this.
The character creator is fucking weird.
It's gash.
Choose your grandparents.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I was like, I looked weird.
Yeah.
I couldn't make myself, you never look quite like yourself, but it was so awkward to make myself look anywhere near myself. I did not. It was one of those ideas I think probably look great on paper, but it's actually bullshit, and it's really low resolution on the characters, so when you're looking at the grandparents, you can't even see what they look like. I was moving it along and I suddenly realised, oh wait a minute, my dad's Chinese. So I won't be getting into online, regardless of how good it is. I thoroughly enjoyed the story, but time to move on. So I started playing Judgment again today properly.
Alright.
Fucking love that game.
Cool.
Really good. It's still very much Gears of War. Nothing much has changed. It looks fantastic as you'd expect. But by adding these kind of score, like the star system, and making it a more arcade, they've freshened up the template a great deal. So for like $10, totally worth getting.
I guess you get like combo multipliers and stuff. For, killing quickly.
And there are like extra challenges you can take. So when you're going through a level, there'll be like a big cog thing on the wall, and it'll give you the option to like play the level in a certain way, like because it's all done in flashback, so you're basically in court telling a story.
Yeah, you're beer, don't you?
Yeah. So I'll see, like rather than it being a certain group of bad guys, you tell the story so that the enemies are harder, or that you have to use certain weapons.
Right. Okay.
So that, and if you take on that mission, obviously it becomes harder, but you get more stars and stuff. Really good system, and again, because underneath it's still just Gears. So far the actual set pieces aren't as impressive as 3 and 2, and you can see that maybe it didn't have the same. Unsurprisingly,
people can fly.
Yeah, people can fly. Yeah,
well, that explains the arcade element.
Yeah, and the fact that obviously it didn't have the same push behind it that the numbered releases had. But
I wonder how long before Gears of War subtitle or Gears of War.
No, it'd have to be 4, I think, and I think they would have to change up the template because they've released 4 games now, and this is interesting because of what they've built around the templates. But if Gears of War is really going to flourish on the next gen, I don't think they can just make it look that much prettier. I think they've got to change it fundamentally in some way. What else have I played? Pro Evo 14 has had a new, for anyone interested in picking up a football game, there was a new download for Pro Evo 14. And the player faces, because the player faces, the ones that were great, but there were loads of shit ones. They've added another 800, and just looking at the Liverpool squad is so much better now. But on top of that, they've made some little tweaks, and it just feels a little bit slicker again. So I had a few games today, and it felt really good. And one of the reasons why I don't give a shit about FIFA 14 sitting on my Xbox One on the table, because I'm like, FIFA 14 looks good in the videos, but I'm like, it's still FIFA 14. I'd still prefer to play Pro Evo.
You should probably open it up and trade in your copy of FIFA now.
It's not, that's the thing though. It's not a copy, it's digital. Oh, believe me, I would. I'd go straight in now, trade it, and just get... Because I actually emailed Amazon and asked if I could change it for the Forza 5 version. Fuckers never got back to me. I emailed them twice, bastards. But never mind, worse things have happened at sea. But if I could trade it in, it'd be jacked off. Jacked off? It'd be jacked off. Where the fuck is my head going today? What else was there? I tell you what, maybe because I want to enjoy it, but I played Sonic Lost World, which had very mixed reviews. I really, really liked it.
You must have paid a fair bit for it then, because it's still quite new.
Oh, no, there was a demo.
Oh, right.
So it's just the opening level, but it looks gorgeous. And it's not perfect. You still have camera issues and stuff occasionally. But I thought the controls were really good. Like the fact that if you have to hold R to really put your foot down, otherwise you have a lot more control. So it takes away that issue, which has always been a problem. But I really liked what I played of it. Not perfect, but obviously we all knew it was a bit of a Galaxy rip-off.
Yeah.
But only when you play it, you're like, fuck, they really have just...
Does it look nice?
It looks gorgeous.
I love the Sonic art style.
Oh yeah, and this looks like... I mean, that's the thing. If you're a fan of Sonic visually, then it's absolutely gorgeous. I like it, and I'm going to buy the full game. I'm fully aware that it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But
you'll probably finish it in a week or two.
Yeah. I liked the demo more than enough to warrant buying it, but I'm a Sonic fan.
Speaking of Sonic, I know one of the new PSN games is going to be the kart racer that you like so much.
Oh yeah, but it's the Vita version.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I've got the 360 version anyway.
I'll need to see what's coming to the PS.
Oh, Grid 2 is... Grid 3?
Grid 2.
Grid 2. Grid 2's coming out, which is good, because I was thinking about getting that, because I quite fancy playing an arcade racer.
Yeah.
So I'll put some time into that. What else was there? Oh, GTA Liberty City Stories on the PSP. I'll get that. I've got a PSP, so I'll get it, I suppose. But the big ones are the, Resogun and Contrast.
Oh, of course. Oh, fuck. That's going to suck now, because we're going to get less for the PS3.
Yeah, totally. The thing is, most of the games I want at the moment, the ones that are coming out and I think, I want to play that, are all Vita games.
Yeah.
But can I really get a Vita? Will I play it? The thing is, it's working, the PlayStation Plus thing, because obviously I just want to get it for PlayStation Plus.
I would love it, right? If you tell Bethan, Bethan for Christmas, I really want a Vita, and she's like, what? Really? Yeah. Oh, right, okay, I'll get you. And you're like, wow, just like that? Okay, cool. And then you open it up, and it's a copy of that really shitty film starring Madonna.
Oh, a Vita.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that, I would punch her in the face. I was like, come on, you fucking know me better than that. That's a bullshit of bullshit. I send you out to buy Vita, and you buy a Vita. Fucking dick. Let's be honest, that's not her worst movie. What was the one she did recently, which got fucking slated?
Everything she's ever done.
Well, she was in... No.
She was in Austin Powers and stuff.
She was in...
it was in
A League of Their Own. Is it A League of Their Own?
Isn't that thing with James Corden?
Yeah, but isn't A League of Their Own also the film with Tom Hanks, Rosie O'Donnell, and Gina Davis?
I actually really like that.
I fucking love that film. I've seen that film so many times, and she's good in that. She was also King Dick Tracy. I thought she was fine.
I don't think I've seen that.
I always find it interesting though, to think if you didn't know it was a Madonna, if people didn't know it was a Madonna film, directed by her and stuff, would they get such bad reviews? I think she's one of those people where the reviews will be knocked down because of her. Yeah, it's the same with to bring it back to games, Batman Arkham Origins. I was listening to a podcast, I can't remember which one, but they were suggesting that would Batman Arkham Origins have got a better review scores if people thought it was made by Rocksteady?
Yeah.
I think it probably would have.
No.
I think people had immediately, when they hear that a third, it's not the additional developers are working on it,
Yeah.
immediately their expectations are like kind of low and they're just like, oh, this is going to be rubbish. Or, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I'd love if there was a way to do a test. If they could.
From what I've seen, the game looks unnecessarily rushed. It looks like it doesn't really contribute anything to the.
No, it doesn't look like it's going to do anything particularly new. But they were obviously not brought in to do anything particularly new.
If they knew a new generation was coming, I think what they should have done is just bided their time and made on the scale of Grand Theft Auto, or maybe not quite that big, but make an Arkham City that is a city.
Yeah.
That's what I really want in a Batman game. I want
scale.
I want animated series Arkham, not Gotham.
Yeah.
Because it's got such a distinctive art style. It would.
A lot of people wouldn't be interested in that though.
They're idiots then.
Well, I wouldn't be as interested. I gotta be honest. Like, I prefer them. Like, it isn't like the animated show is good, but
not an animated game, but just have those massive Gothic skyscrapers with.
I see. Yeah. No, I see. But still, like visually the same as the other ones.
Yeah.
But artistically, maybe kind of having
inspired by Gotham.
Architecturally, that's the word I was looking for.
Because Chris Nolan's had obviously a massive effect on the way Gotham City is portrayed, which is probably my biggest issue with the Nolan Batman films. Is that it's just average American city.
Well, I watched Batman: The Dark Knight Rises for the first time since I'd seen it in the cinema, and it really does. It is just a city. I mean, at least Batman Begins. Had a hint of the slightly, with the monorail running through the city and the
fact that there was the
narrows and stuff like that.
And the fact that it was filmed at night.
Yeah.
I mean, more than half of the Dark Knight Rises takes place during the day.
Yeah. Oh, I'd tell you the one thing though I'm looking forward to about playing, because I am going to play Origins, is the fact that it's set at Christmas. I just quite like that idea. But other than that, it's one of those, like, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want a bigger Batman game. I just want a denser, more impressive one.
Yes.
That's about it. But I'll be interested if they try and add.
I've heard that they've got the city, but there's actually no people in it.
Yeah. Which made sense in the previous ones. This one they've passed it off as being because it's Christmas Eve. Yeah. I can see what. Well, they had to do something. Obviously, you've got to build a whole new system, and how do you deal with the fact that people are on the streets? It'd be interesting, but I'll get around to that eventually. That's pretty much all I've got. I mean, in terms of, we've talked about new releases, obviously with all the Xbox One games. I mean, Soul Calibur 2 snuck out this week onto Xbox Live.
That's the free-to-play one.
No, this is the HD remake of the Xbox version.
Oh, right, so this will be the one with Spawn?
Spawn in it, yeah, but there's no link.
Or Heihachi.
I'm not sure if Heihachi's in the PlayStation version.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
He's in
the PlayStation. Yeah, but I'm not sure if he's in the PlayStation 3 version.
Yeah.
I assume so, but there is no Link version. But Link was a shit character anyway. Like, it was great. Like, he looked fantastic, but he wasn't much fun to play. Spawn was okay. He looked cool, but the thing is, Spawn looked like he fitted in. I thought he looked really cool, but I guess arguably so did Link.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's come out. I have no interest in going back. I have very happy memories of that, but I don't really need to go back to Soul Calibur 2, whether it's high definition or not. So forget about that. The only other ones I forgot about actually coming to Xbox One, a Loco Cycle, which has just been panned.
Yep.
Which is a bit of a shame because
it's a funny idea, but it's not enough to make people interested.
No, people just don't seem to like that game at all, which is the first real flop they've had, critical flop anyway, isn't it? Twisted Pixel, because all their other games, Explosion Man and all that jazz, they've all done really well, and they have all been really great games, but this one obviously just not attached. I'm actually really looking forward to Killer Instinct.
Well, yeah.
It's unique enough a beat 'em up.
Apparently, the reason that you got the full shebang is because of your achievement points.
Really?
Apparently.
But I haven't received the additional email yet to say, here's the code or anything, so I'm going to have to get in touch with them.
They're just fucking with you.
Maybe they are. Yeah, because I'm nearly on 100,000 achievement points now. I'm on like 95,000, I think.
Are you?
No, wait, not
I think
95,000.
you're on 60,000.
No.
50,000.
No, I'm on like 95,000. I'm nearly on
You
100,000.
must have jumped up quite a bit in the last...
No, I passed 90,000 a while ago.
Oh.
I'm on like is that right? Yeah, no, I'm on like 95,000 now.
Wow.
I know, what the fuck? And I'm not even an achievement chaser. It's just playing loads of fucking games.
Yeah.
Like, there are very few games where... Like, there are no games where I've got 1,000. There are a few games where I've got 200 out of 200, and they're nearly all Sega
I had
games.
it for Oblivion, and then they brought out the DLC.
Bastard motherfuckers. But yeah, I mean, we're 45 minutes in, and I think that's the weird thing. There's not a huge amount to talk about at the moment, because obviously all the news has been about the Xbox One coming out and the PlayStation 4 coming out. But, you know, we will play these eventually. That's the problem. I'm thinking I might have to just open it soon, just so I can talk about the games. Maybe, I don't know.
The numbers of sales have kind of come in for the first few days of each console.
The PlayStation 1, PlayStation 4 killed it in fucking America, which is concerning for Xbox, because Xbox usually...
Over 1 million in America.
Which, to put in perspective, has smashed every record in terms of...
Yeah.
Because usually when people talk about sales, they talk about how much it sold in a month. And I don't think any console has sold in a month what PlayStation 4 did in a day. So I'm not sure if that's kind of testament to the popularity of PlayStation or the popularity of games consoles. I think it's both, maybe.
Well, to be fair, the Xbox One has sold over 1 million now, but that's an international release. Obviously, there's still a few sectors where...
Is it already sold that much, is it?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that.
I think it was... No, when was it? Friday? Yeah, so it's... Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that, you know, we've talked about this before, I think they're both going to sell really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, I think it'll be relatively split down the middle. I mean, obviously I've bought an Xbox One, but I could have just as easily bought, you know, the PlayStation 4 looks good as well. Both are having their little technical problems. Quite
considerable.
Yeah, but I mean, now more than ever, those are going to be kind of jumped on straight away.
I felt quite good about not being a day one adopter when I saw these things. I mean, they're inevitable.
What happens if my console's dicked and I don't find out until Christmas? That's the thing. Part of me thinks
you'll have a year's warranty on it.
Yeah. It would be a fucking nightmare though if I went on Christmas Day and it didn't work after all that waiting. Motherfuckers. But I don't know. Are you planning on playing anything this week?
Probably more Sky. I've still got the DLC.
Fucking
Skyrim. For Skyrim.
Addiction. It's a horrible thing.
Remember Me, I do want to play.
It's good. It's good. Although saying that,
I was listening to the soundtrack through the week.
I think I'm about 50% of the way through it, and I need to get back around to it because it could easily become one of those games where I just, ironically enough, forget about it.
Yeah.
But it was just I had Grand Theft Auto 5 then. I was like, I want to play this, and I can't remember the last time I blitzed a game like Grand Theft Auto 5. I was like, I'm just like every time I could play, like had time to play a video game. That's just what I did.
I found myself like, oh right, okay, can it be over now?
Really.
Yeah, I got bored of GTA.
I thoroughly enjoyed it all the way through, but that was on the basis that I wasn't fucking around doing other things. Like, I think it took me 28 hours, I think I spent on it to finish the story, which is fair. I got I think total completion is like 67%, and I'm more than happy with that. That's done. But this week I'll be finishing Judgment, Pro Evo, all that jazz. Crisis 3.
It's getting harder and harder to resist Assassin's Creed.
I'm not touching that.
It's getting 9s across the board.
Yeah, it looks ace. Especially after the disappointment of 3.
And that's the thing, it's being compared, so basically what people are saying is, yeah, all the shit you didn't like in 3, they've taken care of that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I don't think, it doesn't look like there's a huge jump from 3, in terms of PS3 to PS4, for Assassin's Creed.
Visually,
yeah, it looks better.
Well, it does. If you actually see them side by side, there's a
no. It is better, but they're kind of finer details. I still don't think
things like the grass.
It's kind of one of those things like when you initially look at it, if you had them side by side, you'd be like, oh, that's amazing. I guarantee after like 2 hours, you forget about that, and it's just playing Assassin's Creed again.
Yeah. But when you see them actually side by side, the weather effects is what are really impressive for the PS4 because the way the storms affect, the boat and the way you see the water kind of sloshing across the deck. Yeah, you just don't get that on.
I think these kind of games, though, as good as they look now, especially these ones, especially games like Assassin's Creed 4, which have been obviously up-resed for the current generation, as it were. 5 years from now, we will look back and be like, that looks shit.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about like the difference between games released now and at launch.
Yeah.
Fucking like night and day. I mean, you compare,
Gun.
say, Gun. Yeah, compare Gun, which is essentially that. I mean, you know, it's one of those games that was rezzed up for given the high def treatment. Although they were really lazy back then, because all they would do was move it into high definition. There would be so few detail changes. But the different, even okay, take a first party game like Perfect Dark. You compare Perfect Dark to something like The Last of Us. It's like fuck. Like that feels like a generational leap. That doesn't feel like a few years. That feels
that's 8 years of progression.
Yeah, but it's still amazing that comes from the same technology.
Yeah.
Mind you saying that, I mean, if you showed someone, you know, the Xbox dashboard now, compared to, you know, the whole file system, whatever it was, when the original Xbox, I mean, again...
How many updates has it had? 4 or 5?
4 or 5 major ones. Although the PlayStation's never really changed. It's always just been the XMB.
Judging from the UIs, both of them have quite nice UIs now.
Yeah, well, the PlayStation's supposed to be really... Because that was...
The Xbox One is essentially Windows 8.
Yeah. Because that was, I mean, as I've mentioned before, one of my major problems with the PlayStation was like the back end of it all. Like, I didn't like the XMB. I didn't like the fact that everything took so long. But it sounds like they've sorted out a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
now.
although a lot of people are getting very critical of the time it's taken Microsoft or the time it's taken the Xbox to download stuff, which is a surprise because
I will bet the farm that this is just teething problems and that Microsoft will sort this shit out.
Yeah,
I'm just amazed that with the PlayStation, it's still a problem now. Like from day one, downloads and updates took fucking ages and it is never improved. And I'm like, how the fuck has that happened? Like there is no way. Well, you know, I'm just going based on what I've seen before with the Xbox. They tend to change these things and sort them out pretty swift. And I do think this is more of a teething problem rather than over. You know, I'm not going to judge either console based on what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
Because they will change and kind of progress. But, you know, in terms of the kind of core system, like you said, yours, they look impressive. And especially the PlayStation 4 looks like a huge jump up from the PS3. I haven't seen the store yet. I hope that's a bit better. Because the store's a bit shit too.
They must have done, because there's been a lot of criticism of the store over the last few years.
Well, the store, I mean, saying that, that's something that is as much as it's still a bit shit. The store didn't even really exist when the PlayStation 3 started. It was literally just an online page. Which is absolute bollocks. They just weren't ready for it, were they?
No.
But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if Nintendo catches up. But I tell you what I'm going to be playing. By the time we talk next week, I would have certainly played some Super Mario Brothers, which I just cannot wait to play.
I can imagine it's going to be you just talking and me just going...
I just don't care. Seriously, the best console to own right now is arguably the Wii U.
Well, yeah, it's the one with the games on it.
Have you seen the new bundle? Fucking amazing for £300. For £300, you get the 32 gig Wii U. You get new Super Mario Brothers, new Super Mario Brothers Luigi, new Super Mario Brothers 3D World, and you get a Mario hat. The fuck? I mean,
I've already got a Luigi hat.
You've got a Luigi hat. Yeah, but you want a Mario hat as well. I mean, let's be honest. Luigi's a bit shit, isn't he?
I prefer Luigi.
He's a bit of a pussy.
I feel sorry for Luigi.
Yeah, everyone feels sorry for him. It doesn't mean I prefer him. I mean, you know, Jesus Christ, he's a bit of a moan ass. But yeah, I guess that's it for this week. I mean, I don't know where I was going to go with that actually. I was going to talk about movies briefly, but I can't be fucked.
What time is it?
52 minutes.
Ah, we've still got time.
Oh, we got 8 minutes. Well, I was just going to say, I did mention obviously Dark Knight Rises, going back and watching that, and you know, it's a good film. But I went back this week as well and watched The Avengers. Yes. That's a great film.
Yes.
That is a better film. Yes. There's no two ways about it. But Dark Knight, you know, it's easy to be, like, it feels more worthy and stuff. But I watched The Avengers, and this is the third time I've seen it now. I don't know how you make a better film. I do not know how you make a better Avengers film. Like, the only issue I have is with the fact that the enemies are a bit shit. Guys who show up. But there's no time for that, unless you want to make it a 4-hour film. You know, it's got Loki's in it, who's great. They give every character enough to do. They even made Captain America look important. Yeah. It's a fucking amazing film.
The story, I think, it's kind of similar to Eric Bana in the newer Star Trek film. Well, not the newest, but you know, the start of the rebranding. He was a pretty crap villain, but the film was more about the crew of the Enterprise and bringing them together. And Avengers Assemble. I mean, the name's there. It's all about how they find their feet together.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I mean, they already had the kind of relationships built in, and in having Loki, they already had an established villain.
So while Joss Whedon did a lot of work on that.
Yeah. Well, the army that showed up was a bit shit. Loki was still great in that. Loki is a fantastic bad guy. Tom Hiddleston is arguably he's turned the very definition of a kind of side character.
Yeah.
That's not
I was
into one of people's he's such a great you don't know as a bad guy or a good guy, he's interesting either way. So
I was listening to a Nerdist podcast interview with him, and he's super charming, really nice guy.
Didn't he just sound happy as a pig in shit to be involved as well?
Yeah.
He's fantastic. I really like him.
I really like him.
And that's the thing, he's got such a great smile, such a warm smile, but all he has to do is a slight lift of the eyes and that big smile suddenly looks very menacing.
Yeah.
I loved that from Avengers when he shows up for the first time and it's a real close up and he lifts his head and he's got that huge grin on his face, but it looks so fucking menacing, which he does brilliantly.
Have you seen Thor 2 yet?
Yeah.
I loved it.
I thought it was really good.
I thought it was better than the first one.
Yeah, I thought it was better than the first one as well.
Probably because it's got more Loki in it.
Yeah. Still not perfect, but I was surprised by some of the slightly indifferent reviews. I thought it was really, really good. Some of especially the end, the battle scenes were so imaginative, with them falling in and out of those
The
portal holes. Yeah, for lack of a better term. I thought that was really, really impressive.
Christopher Eccleston as Malekith was pretty good.
Yeah. I wasn't the biggest fan of the look of the bad guys and stuff, but Loki, I still thought
they're very they remind me just a lot of Warhammer 40k Dark Elves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what they are.
I tell you what though, I had to do my first bit of research after watching that because I didn't know. Spoiler alert from the credits. I didn't know what's his name.
The Collector.
Yeah, didn't know him.
Benicio del Toro.
Which is bizarre because I used to love the Infinity Gauntlet when I was younger, and I totally forgot about all that. But yeah, an interesting way to kind of link it in with you think the event because obviously the next film's going to have Ultron, is it?
Yeah, Age of Ultron, but they've got Guardians of the Galaxy first, which will
it's all building up towards the Infinity. It'll be Avengers: Infinity and Gauntlet,
so
almost certainly.
Another three Infinity Stones to go.
Yeah, which will get picked up in the next few films.
Guardians
obviously,
of the Galaxy is definitely going to be one of them.
Oh yeah, without question. But this is all building up towards Avengers 3, which will be the culmination of everything, which will unquestionably be Thanos. There's no two ways about it. You need that kind of threat, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's all built. The way they're handling it, the way it's all falling into place.
Joss Whedon is a nerd god.
Yeah, but it's not just. I mean, he was brought on for the Avengers, but Kevin.
He's been orchestrating it from the beginning.
It's that Kevin Feige, whatever his name is. Is that how you pronounce it?
Feige, I think.
Feige, whatever his name is. I mean, obviously he's done an amazing job of kind of keeping everything together, and obviously there's a lot of very smart people ensuring that everything's moving in the right direction, and it's just a masterclass in kind of keeping. And the most important thing is they keep making really good films because people say about
the way that DC just don't seem to have the finger on it at the moment.
Well, it's I think it's hard. Well, I say that it's harder for them. I mean, when you looked at it seems easy now, but when you looked at the Marvel universe after they made Iron Man and stuff, you thought, how the fuck are they going to do Thor? You know, how is Thor going to work? Thor worked fucking brilliantly. You watch it now and you don't think twice about it. It all just works. And the way, they kind of incorporated the fact that he shows up to, the kind of more galactic threat, the way it just keeps opening up, the universe gets bigger and bigger.
That's something Marvel's always been really good at, structuring their comics.
They do it better than DC.
The street heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got guys like Spider-Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Their powers are obviously still impressive,
but in the grand scheme of things, they're not in the same league as a Silver Surfer or a Thor. Or...
I mean, Spider-Man. This is going to get really nerdy. But
go for it.
If he's got the symbiote suit, he becomes almost exponentially.
Oh, it takes him up a level, especially in the comic books.
But obviously, he doesn't like to do it because it
makes him a dick. Makes him emo, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Do you think maybe because they did it in the Fantastic Four, maybe they're keeping it for that they're not having Galactus involved? Do you think that would be too much?
Possible.
Oh well, because that was the thing. I really thought they missed a trick with having Galactus and Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four 2, and it just
I still haven't seen it because I don't want to.
Watch the opening, the bit from the trailer, the bit where the Silver Surfer shows up and Johnny Storm chases after him.
It's Galactus
the bit where he just
by a shadow.
Yeah, it's bullshit. But that opening scene when they're getting married up on the top. And you just see the Silver Surfer go past, and he just runs off, flame on as he jumps off the building, and it's just a big long chase scene, which is absolutely amazing. And then the rest of the film's a bit shit. Oh yeah, no, a bit shit. It's just shit. It really is shit. They're rebooting that, aren't they?
Possibly, I don't know.
Oh, they'd have to.
Yeah, they're a major franchise. I've never liked the Fantastic Four.
I've never been a fan
I like
either.
the Thing. That's it.
I was never even the biggest fan of the Thing because I was always a fan of the Hulk, and I was just like, oh, the Thing's just like a shit version of the Hulk.
Oh, but he's got a personality.
Oh, the Hulk's the best. That's the thing. I like the Hulk when he had the personality. When
Banner's kind of got
around because that was back when I used to collect comic books, and it was around kind of issue 400 when it was Banner but with the power of the Hulk kind of thing. Like he looked like the Hulk, but he was intelligent like Banner. I used to quite like that. But they've done again good job with the Avengers of kind of towards the end of the film. Obviously they didn't have a chance to go into great deal how he kind of got the power over the Hulk, as it were. But he was obviously in control, but it was still the Hulk, wasn't it? He wasn't suddenly talking, but you could see that he was in there. And that was the first Hulk as well, where you could really see the character. Like you could see that it was Mark Ruffalo.
I think the only gesture that they made to kind of show that he's in control of the Hulk a bit more is the fact that he catches Iron Man when he comes back down. Yeah. Well, the bit when they're all in the circle as well, and Captain America's giving the orders, he's like, Hulk, smash, and he has that grin, and then he just jumps in and smashes. That's like one of the best bits of the entire
my favourite bit of the film, without question, is just before that. The scene with the Hulk when he shows up on the bike. It's like, oh, you do it, you're getting angry. He said, oh, that's my problem. I'm always angry. And he turns around, changes and punches the thing. I was in the south, like, fucking touchdown. I was like, that was fucking, like, all my favourite, I mean, I'm a Hulk fan, but I think a lot of people's favourite scenes were the bit where he punches Thor. Yeah. The bit when he smashes Loki, that never gets boring. Yeah. It never gets boring. It's so good. But yeah, watch that. I was surprised, like, none of my friends in work had seen any of these films. He's like, I've seen Iron Man 1 and 2. I was like, well, you probably stopped because Iron Man 2's not great, but you really need to watch all the films. But that's the thing, they're easy to recommend because they're all really good. Yep. Like, there hasn't been a stinker. Like, the closest thing to a stinker people would say is like Iron Man 2. And Iron Man 2 wasn't bad.
I was not a massive fan of Captain America the first time I watched it.
I quite liked it. And I really liked the trailer to Winter Soldier. I think that looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that. But in terms of films, is there anything out at the moment? I know Catching Fire is out this week. I'll be watching that this weekend at some point, I think.
We'll probably go. Me and Cara saw the first one.
I quite liked it. It was fine. And Jennifer Lawrence is fucking smoking. She is hot.
It's up there with Twilight is kind of just...
Oh no, it's so much better than Twilight.
It's just a film for teenage girls.
No, it's better than that, I think. I think it's a much, much better film. I think it, like, I don't know anything about the books, I don't give a toss about it. I've seen the Twilight films, they are bollocks. Oh, I saw the first two.
It's pseudo sci-fi. I mean,
It's, it's kind of battle royale for kids.
Yeah.
But it's well acted. I think it's well directed. Much better acted and much better directed.
The cast is good.
Cast is good. I think they're good films. I don't think of them as kind of films for teens. I think of them as just well-made family movies. And I'll have the reviews for this one have been really good as well.
You see, they've got the first official casting for Star Wars Episode 2.
Yeah, you watch. Just watch the game.
Yeah.
The thing is, I say that if you have R2, you kind of need C-3PO. You do. I mean, he's pony, but it works because he almost speaks for R2 by reacting to him, kind of thing. So I think you do need C-3PO in one way or another, and it just links the films together so much better. There's no reason for him not to be there. I
wonder how much they'd have to pay Anthony Daniels.
Like, what would be the point of them suddenly saying, "Oh, R2, C-3PO got blown up last week"? It's no point. You might.
Well, canonically, he doesn't.
No. So let's get him in there. But what else? I watched Bad Grandpa. That was surprisingly decent.
Are the best bits just in the trailer?
Pretty much. Yeah. There are some other funny bits, and I tell you what, it was good at. It was surprisingly touching.
Yeah.
In the kind of more acty bits kind of thing, you know?
It was just when Cara and I, we were queuing for it and we saw it sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were queuing to go and see, I can't remember what we were going to see. But this, I was like, fuck, it's sold out. How the hell did they make a movie? It was a sketch on Jackass.
They've done a good job of it.
They made an entire movie out of that.
Well, it's all.
And then we went and sat and watched the trailer, and I haven't laughed that much in the cinema
trailer's
since
great.
Borat.
The bit with the ride when he smashes him through the window.
For me, it's the bit when the kids start stripping.
Oh yeah,
and
that's really good.
He's got the money, and he's like,
making it rain on the kids. Yeah, and he's a surprisingly believable young girl, isn't he? It's really weird. But the kid's fantastic. But one thing actually does better than Borat, because Borat is a funnier film. There's no two ways about it. But at the end they turn it into more of a story, and they have Pamela Anderson involved and stuff.
Yeah.
Those bits felt more strained in that film. In these bits, they're kind of the change from these bits where obviously there are people in the crowd, people reacting like they don't know it's a film kind of thing. The change up from that to the kind of more the acted bit, should we say, is more natural, and it feels more like a movie. So I quite liked it, and it is based completely around the relationship between Johnny Knoxville's bad grandpa and the kid, and it is believable, and it is strangely quite touching in the end. But some of the scenes, because not everything's in the trailer. There are one or two bits where you're like, fuck. There's a bit with old long balls.
Yeah, well, that was the bit I always remember from the TV show.
Yeah. There's one where he really goes to town with that, and it is very good. But I'm not sure if there's anything else I plan on seeing, because I do suddenly have Sky Movies. I got jacked. Is jacked the right word? Hustled, should we say? No, someone phoned up and they're like, "You happy with the Sky service?" And then all of a sudden I had Sky Movies and Sky Sports. Although, listen to this. No. Right, because I've got Love Film at the moment, yeah, and I haven't watched the disc for ages. He's been sitting there. I'm spending £14 a month. Wow. The guy on the phone said for the next 6 months, he said he'd be able to give me Sky Movies for £8 a month. So I was like, for 6 months, I was like, yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll just cancel it at the end and go back to Love Film.
Yeah.
He said, we're doing a very special offer as well, where we'll offer you the whole Sky Sports package for another £2 a month. So I got all the movies and all the sports for an extra £10 a month for the next 6 months. I was like, and basically that takes me right till the end of the Premier League season. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do that. And I just got the on-demand thing as well. So this is how I was.
The F1 as well. I
already had F1, so that was fine. But I just got the on-demand thing as well, so that was why I watched Dark Knight Rises and Avengers last week, because you can just watch them off the download service. And because it doesn't stream them in the same way, you basically go on and you tape them, it downloads it.
Right.
So then when you watch it, it doesn't matter if your internet connection goes tits up, it's just as a recording, which I quite like actually. So,
yeah, well, it's good.
But yeah, that's pretty good. I'll keep with that for the next 6 months, and I'll go back to Love Film, because I do like to watch all the more world cinema stuff, which isn't on Love Film.
I saw Captain Phillips at the cinema the other week.
I was thinking about going and seeing that.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah.
The film itself, it kind of drags a little bit at the end, but what was really funny for me is Tom Hanks. I'd seen him upset me. He puts in a really good performance.
When does he not? He's one of those actors where it's try and find me a bad Tom Hanks performance. He's so good in everything, and he seems like the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I was speaking about it with my friend actually. There's no better litmus test for how nice an actor actually is, and how whether he's up his own arse, is by watching them on the Actors Studio.
Yeah.
Because you've got all these students who are all so fucking lovey in the crowd, and you've got the guy. Today with us we have Tom Hanks, legend of the screen, and he's just fucking sucking him off on stage, and everyone's just oh my god, I fucking love you. And you see with Robert Downey Jr., it was watching him disappear up his own arse on stage. Yeah. You get a few where it's just they fucking love it. Whereas you watch someone like Tom Hanks, he's so charming. Mike Myers was great on it actually. He was really funny.
I love Mike Myers, and my favourite band is The Who, and they're talking about a Keith Moon biopic being in production, and there's been links to Mike Myers wanting to play him.
That'd be a good show.
The drummer in his spare, he likes to play the drums.
He's a good actor too.
He's got this similar kind of face. Although he's way kind of too old. Keith Moon died really young.
Yeah, I'm sure they could do something about that maybe, but But he was really good on there. Who else? Oh, Danny DeVito I saw on it recently. Unsurprisingly, was fantastic.
Yeah.
I fucking love Danny DeVito. He's brilliant.
He's found his feet again with Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. He's always been kind of knocking around. Like he hasn't had like a big movie hit for a while, but he's been pretty good on TV and stuff. But this is weird how we've kind of got around to TV.
Yeah.
We've gone over the time now, so we can wrap it up now. But next week we will talk about video games, but we might talk about movies anymore. This is what we do. We just talk. There's no structure here. Fuck.
Maybe
My vague structure for this episode was written down on a piece of paper about half an hour before I left the house today. So there you go. But we will be here next week. As we said last time around, we are gonna commit to hopefully trying to do this each and every Saturday. So please have a listen. Check us out on iTunes. Check us out on iTunes. I'm repeating myself. On Twitter. What are the other things? Facebook, YouTube. We have a YouTube page. We have recorded these on videos in the past. This one isn't one of them, but we will get back to that eventually. So please subscribe. Check out the website, obviously, brashgames.co.uk. Follow us, join us, all that bollocks. But until next week, GTFL.
Bye.